Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yo Na Prachodaya. So what I chanted is Gayatri Mantra. It's one of the most elemental or one of the most fundamental mantra for Hinduism. It is also known as Veda, Veda Mantra. It happens in 3 of the 4 Vedas. And it is also known as Vedmata, Vishwamata, Devamata. Means the energy that all the divine beings derive is from this mantra. That's why it's known as Devamata. Vedamata because it has 24 syllables and those 24 aksharas each has very profound meaning. And when one starts understanding and harvesting the energy, the whole universe is governed. And that's why it's also known as Vedamata. And Vishwamata because our existence is dependent on this energy, and that's why it's also known as Vishwamata. We started with Gayatri Mantra. What the puja that we are doing today is known as Deep Yagya. So Deep Yagya, as I mentioned earlier, for those who are not here, we just light the lamp and make the offerings. Now you don't have to light the lamp now. You will be lighting the lamp when I invoke the presence of Agni Devata. And then we'll be making the offerings there. And I will explain with my best ability on whatever I understand about rituals. But why is it done today? First of all, it is done as a collective yagya today. And today, close to 1 million households are doing one or other form of yagya. Last year, around this time, Gayatri Puriya took a pledge. At that time, the pledge was of doing it in 2.4 lakhs, 240,000 homes. This year, it was decided to do it in 1 million homes. And because of the limitations and the whole worldwide shutdown, lots of Gayatri Puriya families were not able to do. And that's why we are using this technology to perform this yagya. So as I mentioned earlier, Deep Yagya. Yagya is a Sanskrit name, and it has every Sanskrit name has a root, and that root is Yaj. Yaj has 3 meanings. The very first meaning of Yaj, Dhatu, or the root, is Devatvaka Avtaran, inculcation of divinity within us. The second aspect of that root is Sangatikaran, or unification of righteous minds. And the third is Dan, meaning selfless service to the society. Now, it is also said that Gayatri and Yagya are the counterparts for each other. Gayatri is the spiritual energy, Yagya is the physical manifestation of that spiritual energy. You can also call it Gayatri and Savitri. So Gayatri Mantra also has the same 3 as part of it. Those who may not know the meaning of Gayatri Mantra, Om, Bhur, Bhuvaswaha are Vyahutis. They are not part of Gayatri Mantra. They are add-ons to the Gayatri Mantra for specific energy and specific invocation in specific regions. The 24 akshas starts from Tat Savitur Varenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, Diyo Yona Prachodayat. So Tat Savitur Varenyam. Tat means that, or or what is represented as divinity. That's why when we do Namaste, we say Namahate. Te represents divinity, or Tat is the root for Te in Namaste. Meaning when we do Namaste, we say that I bow down to the divinity within you. I choose to look at good in you. So it's the same meaning here in Gayatri Mantra also. Tat Savitur is the life force that comes from rising sun, the Prana Shakti that comes from sun. Without that, our existence is not possible. Varenyam is something we want to inculcate in our own life. So Tat Savitur Varenyam, that represents inculcation of divinity within our own life. Right? That in the puja you will be reminded on how it is performed. The second part I said is Sangatikaran. Sangatikaran meaning unification of all the righteous minds. So those who may have seen the logo of Gayatri Parivar, it's a mashal. It's the light torch, and below the torch is, you will see lots of men, women from all creeds, all both genders and all all nationalities and all religious backgrounds are standing together. So that's a unification of all the righteous minded people from across the entire humanity. And that comes under the torch of that righteous knowledge. That is unification. And that is represented by the last part of Gayatri Mantra, which is Diyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. So Diyo is intellect. Prachodayat is that may you illuminate. But Naha is plural, so it's not may you illuminate my intellect on a righteous path. It says may you illuminate our intellect on a righteous path. What is good for world is good for me. What is good for all is good for me. And that's why we also say Vasudevaya Kutumbakam, that the whole world is my family. So that aspect comes or signifies the second aspect of Yaj or Yajna, which is Sangatikaran. And Dan. Dan is selfless giving. And all the devatas are, that is why we go to mandir, temple, and pray to Bhagwan, or all the symbolism of Bhagwan that is represented by those different deities or murtis. Now, we many times translate it wrongly and call it idol. That is done by, the Britishers with a very evil agenda in the mind. Idol in a Western world has a concept of idol meaning false god in a pagan history, if you look at the pre or the Roman history. And that is one of the reasons Hinduism is one of the most misunderstood religion in the West. But, that's a separate topic we can discuss after the Yajna. The reason I brought it up here is that all the divine beings has one thing in common, that they give. They don't take, they give. When you go to the mandir, you ask. You don't go and tell, Bhagwan when you pray that Bhagwan, I'm going to give you this, right? Or I am here to give you this. Rather than we say that, please do this for me. So they give. That's why they are known as Devta, right? The one who gives. So inculcation of divinity or bringing all the righteous-minded people together is something we already talked about. So Dan is represented by Devta, and that's why it says Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi, that may we be blessed with that brilliance that is possessed by Devtas. That we become like Devta, we develop the ability to give. And that is what is represented Gayatri Parivar. That's why we do Yajna. Now, why it is so important today? Because it is done collectively in 1 million households. What is the importance of doing it collectively versus individually? When you do individually, you are typically, benefits are limited to individual. When you are doing collectively, the benefits typically are done for the universe, for a larger cause. And we being part of that larger cause, an integral part of it, we also get tremendously benefited. It's like when you save the environment, it's not just I get benefited, the entire generation that is going to come gets benefited. And when we pollute an environment, I also suffer, but everybody else also suffers. If you want to look at the energy that is generated collectively, so what is believed is that when you do a collective yajna, each person gets benefit that is multiplied by the number of places and people who are doing that. And that's why, if you look at it, in ancient time, large-scale yajnas were done. Ashwamedh yajnas were very famous in ancient time. And yajna does also a few things. It helps with the environment. There is a science there. And we have a university that is doing a lot of research on that now. The physical form of yajna that we do, this is more symbolic, but the physical form of yajna heals the environment, and a lot of data coming out in a university that we have. And there are other groups also working in that. But it also helps creating the thought pollution. And a classic example for this was when Ram killed Ravana in Ramayana. The physical body of Ravana was destroyed, but not his thought processes. That was so deeply penetrated in the psychic of the people who followed him. In order to get rid of that, Ram Bhagwan had to do 10 Ashwamedh yajnas, and they are done in the place, in Varanasi, where PM Modi ji goes, and Dasa Ashwamedh Ghat. And you may have heard the story of one of those Ashwamedh yajna of Love and Kush, and the Ashwamedh yajna in a fight between Lakshman and Love and Kush. That was part of that symbolically. But Ashwa also means bad tendencies. So that's to overcome bad tendencies of the entire nation is where Ashwamedh yajnas are done. And typically when Ashwamedh yajnas, there is only 1,000 or so kundas. Here today it's done 1,000,000 times. So you can imagine the kind of collective energy that will be generated today that should help humanity. And we being part of that humanity should help us also in dealing these great moments of change. And I'll talk about it briefly in a few minutes. If you want to simply understand the logic here of doing it collectively, it's like you have a car, and if car breaks down and you are the only one who has to push it, right? You can probably govern it and push it to little distance, but there is very limited things you can accomplish. Now imagine you have 100 people who are there, right? You can even lift the car and go wherever you want, right? You don't even have to push it. You can lift the entire car. So that is the beauty of doing it collectively. And then that is why we are doing this today and participating this great spiritual expert. The world will see the results of this, in future time, and hopefully we all will be able to see those results with our own eyes. So that is why we are doing this Deep Yajna. So very first part of any puja that we do is Pavitrikaran. Why do we have to do Pavitrikaran? Pavitrikaran means purification. So anytime we start any puja, we have to take a pledge that I'm going to purify myself. The reason is that in every puja, we pray to God, meaning we pray to a higher source than us. Whatever form we relate to, but we always pray to somebody whom we consider, whether in the form of energy or physical form, but at a higher level than us. So unless you are willing to open yourself and absorb that flow from a higher beings to us, there is no benefit if you're not willing to absorb that. There may be a temporary benefit, but if you want to convert that to a permanent benefit, you have to become yourself open up to that. And that's why in Gujarati we say that Mangya sivai maa pan na pisi sake, right? Even the divine powers cannot benefit you unless you yourself are asking for it and are willing to absorb and then opening yourself. Meaning that we have to be willing to accept that I have weaknesses. I need to become better than who I am. And that is why we start any puja with Pavitrikaran. So we start Pavitrikaran, take water in your left hand. So hold the hand like this, take a spoon of the water, put it in your left hand, cover it with like this. After the mantra is chanted, you sprinkle over yourself. Imagine that you are purifying the place where you are doing puja, and also you are purifying yourself. So put the water here, cover it with the hand and sprinkle over you after I chant the mantra. Om apavitra pavitro va sarvavastam gatopi va yat smaret pundarikaksham sabhaya vyantara suchi. Om punadu pundarikaksha punadu. You sprinkle over yourself. So this Deep Yajna is a form that was developed by Pandit Sri Ram Sharma Acharya. He is the founder of Gayatri Parivar. And he was a very great accomplished Siddha or a saint who was also known as Acharya, because whatever he taught it by putting into his own practice first. So after Rishi Vishwamitra, who brought Gayatri Mantra on the earth, he is considered to be the greatest of the Gayatri Mantra sadhaka on the earth after Vishwamitra. The reason is because he has done 24 Mahapurashcharanas. So each Mahapurashcharan is 2.4 million mantras. It takes 6.5 hours of chanting every day for 1 year to finish one Mahapurashcharan. And he did 24 of those. After that, he was also called into Himalayas 4 times for a year or so to do very special form of sadhanas. And in the end, when he turned 75, he was asked to do a sadhana known as Sukshmikarana sadhana, where, he created 5 different energies that will help bringing the era of truth and righteousness firmly established onto the earth. So those who may have followed the work of Sri Aurobindo, he called about establishment of supramental consciousness onto the earth. What he said that the work that he is doing is the continuation of the work that was started by Ramakrishna Paramahansa and Swami Vivekananda, that was carried by spiritual leaders and masters like Sri Ramanna Maharshi and Sri Aurobindo. And his sadhana was in the phase 3, and he did not come alone. He said with him there are lots of great souls that have taken birth, and he has even outlined in one of the book that if you're interested I can share, Mahakal or uski Yug Pratyavan Prakriya, and he has described the whole process of the change in the era, as well as what level of souls will be taking birth and what are the conditions for them to take birth, and all of them will come together to transform the world. And he has also written time frame in another article known as Satyug Kaise Avega that he wrote in 1942, even before the World War II or before India's independence. And all his writings, and that is writings of many others also, are pointing that we now entering that phase where the rate of change is escalating to unprecedented rate, and that is one of the reasons this in Corona what we saw was unprecedented in the human history. And one thing that is coming out of this is a mindset that we have to change as a human being, and we have the ability to change. And environment is self-healing, and there are many things that are happening right now, and that process is expected to escalate. So the reason this collective experiment is also done is to give strength to everybody who is participating, who are surrendering themselves to Gayatri Mantra. Also, they are establishing relationship with Sun or the divine light in whatever form that you relate to, independent of your religion, to get them strength to sustain and participate in this change, to make a world a better place to live for all. And the very first step is to remove our own fears and anxieties about the change on what is happening, because we all are so conditioned to think certain way. And hopefully this puja will give us that inner peace, so that we can calm down and deal with the situation in a much better way, and also become productive in terms of how we can help others by changing, bringing transformation within us. So once you have the water, we did the Pavitrikaran. So why do we have to do Pavitrikaran? What are the benefits? So this puja is done, or this Deep Yajna was devised by him after his Sukshmikaran sadhana. And he made it in a very simple form that can be transformed or that can be done very simply. There are no long mantras. He gave formulas, and each formula that is given here can be a life-changing formula for us. And in the end, as part of every Gayatri Parivar ritual, you will be asked to give Deva Dakshina. Deva Dakshina meaning that you offer something as a Dakshina or an offering at the puja. And what is being asked as a Deva Dakshina is to give up one bad habit and take one good habit. So here are the formulas that he gave for Pavitrikaran. He says, Om Pavitratana Sanmargam Nayat. When we decide to change ourselves, meaning that when we are willing to accept our own weaknesses and make an effort to overcome them, it will also help us, give us righteous intellect and give us power of discrimination, power of choosing between right and wrong. It also says, Om Pavitratanaha Mahatam Prachachatu, meaning that it will give us so much inner strength that we can, move ourselves or walk on the path where we can lead to a greatness in our life, where we become, we feel very self-confident and productive member of the society. And the biggest benefit that it says we will get is Om Pavitratanaha Shantim Pradadatu, that it blesses us with inner peace. And the very first step for inner peace is that we need to remove our fears and anxiety. So that is one of the benefits that happens when we do puja. And when you do the benefits of the puja by taking pledge, it will become a permanent impact on us. Many times we have that misconcept that, that when we are in anxieties, when we have fear, when we are stressed, we want to do puja. But then we just want to do puja to get rid of the problem temporarily. So puja always helps because it creates positive energy. But if you want to convert that into a long-lasting effect, then you also have to take a pledge to transform yourself by learnings that are being taught by our puja, and everything is taught in the frame of formula. So next we do pranayam. I will chant the mantra. You imagine that there is a lot of positive energy surrounding. When you inhale, that you are inhaling and taking that positive energy within you. Holding that, imagine that the positivity is reaching to every cell of your body, cleansing you. Then you exhale. And when you exhale, you have to imagine that all the negativity that has been released, all the toxins that are released from our physical, our mental and our emotional bodies are being carried out, but that air that is being exhaled, and we are releasing that. And then you hold the breath again in the breathless condition and imagine that it's going far, far, far away. Now, if you do this pranayam 3 to 4, this is one of the very basic form of pranayam. If you want to learn higher level of pranayams, we also do 6-hour sadhanas every Saturday, where we teach different pranayams and meditation techniques. And other organizations also, Ramdev Baba is very famous for teaching his pranayams, and so is Art of Living and Sadhguru, and there are so many organizations that teaches pranayam. But there is one very basic pranayam that I recommend that all of us should do on a daily basis. Just with back straight, practice the pranayam once while I chant the mantra. Om Vishwani Deva Savitah Duritani Parasuva Yad Bhadram Tanna Asuva. Imagine that every cell of the body is absorbing the divine energy, the positivity. We from inside out are becoming positive. Our mind is becoming positive. We are releasing all the negativities from our mind. We are becoming better than who we are. We are developing the strength to change ourselves. After that, we do tilak. Now, if you have kumkum or a sandalwood powder, you can take that. You will be putting it right here between the two eyebrows, right above pituitary gland. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. Just take a drop of the water and put the water there. And you typically use this ring finger to do that. So why don't you do that? Hold your finger here and I will chant the mantra. Om Chandanasya Mahatpunyam Pavitram Papanashanam Apadam Harte Nityam Lakshmi Tishtati Sarvada. The benefits: Om Mastiskam Shantam Bhuyat, that may my mind becomes calmer. Om Anuchitam Avesham Ma Bhuyat, means it will not get agitated. Om Shirsham Unnatam Bhuyat, I will develop so much self-confidence and self-pride that I never have to, look down. And Om Vivekam Sthiri Bhuyat, that my power of choosing between right and wrong, that power or my wisdom, right, develops to the point where it always stays stable within me. Now, the mantra that I chanted came from a regular yagya. It was not part of the Deep Yagya. But the reason I bring it up, because it's a very profound meaning there. The end of that, it starts with Chandanasya Mahatpunyam, the process of applying this tilak, which is in ancient time used to be done using sandalwood. And it leads to, as a conclusion part, it says Lakshmi Tishtati Sarvada. Now, we all have spent lives creating, prosperity for us and all our loved ones, right? And in fact, many times you have worked without even thinking and have made so many sacrifices to reach where we are. And our always desire is that not only I benefit, by my generations to come, right? Their life is set. Is that true? We all know, if you look at the experience, and that's why our scripture says Lakshmi Chanchal hai, right? That Lakshmi doesn't stay forever. This formula gives you how to keep Lakshmi or a Vaibhav forever. And it says that applying the Chandan, first of all, you put it right here where the pituitary gland is. You stimulate that by doing this process, and it was done daily. And Chandan has two gun, or two attributes. One of them is Shitalta, means calmness. The other one is Suvas, fragrance. What basically it tells you is that if you develop peace of mind and if you become compassionate, that is the precondition for wealth to stay forever. And in India, if you notice, all the families that have wealth, have survived for 10 generations, 7 generations, are all philanthropic families, And it will be reminded later on why it is important and how you can become, more philanthropic, or how do you develop compassion is taught later in different part of the process. So that is why we did tilak. Now we have to do Sankalpa Sutra. So if you have this kalava, hold it in your right hand, just like this. And you can also add with it a little rice and flour if you want. And if you don't have it, just do it this way and hold your hand like this. You don't have to put it on right now, after I describe. So there are 5 things that are being taught when you take this Sankalpa. Or Sankalpa Sutra means we are taking a pledge, and Sutra is formula. That we are taking a pledge to put a formula in our life. Other thing also is that it's also known as Raksha Sutram, means we seek the protection from the divine. And Raksha Sutra, you probably know from Raksha Bandhan point of view, that the sisters put the same thread on a brother, seeking protection for them. So in every puja we do, we put this red thread. Females put it on the left hand, all the married female puts it on the left hand, all the unmarried females as well as male put it on the right hand. So there are 5 things that we need to take pledge for. The first 3 are Upasana, Sadhana and Aradhana. You can remember it at USA. Upasana meaning sitting next to. Asan, sitting next to. What do you need to sit next to? You need to sit next to Bhagwan. And Bhagwan, we many times mistaken that they only exist in form of, deities, or tamari mandir ho, if you only have temple in the house, or when you go to temple. That is not true. It's a righteous values. Wherever you can learn righteous values, you can force yourself in the company of that. So if for example, if you are a temple, you can do things like mantra chanting. Wherever you are, you can do mantra chanting. Manah trayate iti mantra. The one that helps with your mind, control your mind, is known as mantra. So, and as I explained, Gayatri Mantra is one of the most powerful prayer for the entire humanity. So you can train your myself just like going to the physical gym. This is your mental gym, and that's why you do repeated mantra chanting to train your mind. So this is your mental gym. That's one aspect. You can do arti, you can do offer thali, you can do chalisas, or do Durga Saptasati, or Sundarkand, or anything you relate to are one form of worship or upasana. Other form is reading positive books, forcing yourself to stay in company of positive people. That all become part of upasana. So when we do upasana, what happens? We now have established connection with somebody whom we respect. We have a role model in our life now. Whenever you establish that connection, it acts like a mirror. So now you can see, at least you can start recognizing your own limitations and recognize where you can improve. And that's a very difficult, very first step, because our ego comes in the way typically. That's why it's very, very difficult for us to say sorry or to accept our own weaknesses. Right? And we always find a reason to justify our own weaknesses by looking more negativity in somebody else. So at least you break that cycle and you learn how to, start looking within. Now the second step is sadhana. So sadhana means to transform yourself. Sadhu or sadhana, even if you look at in Hindi, sadhana also means to transform yourself or to master yourself, to take control of your own life. That's why it's known as Jivan Sadhana, right? That, you take control of your own life and transform it. So whatever you learn in Upasana, now you have to apply, and that requires a lot of inner strength, inner energy. And so that is what is the second phase that you have to do also. And the third one is Aradhana, meaning donating, or making the world a better place to live for all, or you can say doing selfless act without expecting anything in return is known as Aradhana. Now what is said is that all three things has to be done in parallel. Many times we make a mistake of, okay, how can I help somebody if I don't know? Whatever you know, help with that. And because it's also a closed loop system. If you break that cycle, then your ego develops. And you may have seen that somebody who are just doing selfless service or start with the selfless service, but don't do the other two sides, ends up into ego fights. And we see that those type of fights all the time. Same thing, those who only do focus on Upasana develop that, I'm the greatest sadhak and I don't, a lot of issues shows up there too. So all these three things feedback on each other. And how do you overcome these three things? You have to put two practices in your life as a pledge: Samaidan and Anshadan. So I will talk much first about Anshadan. Anshadan means daily donation. You have whatever resources you have to take a small portion out on a daily basis. What we do is we do cheating. Somebody approaches us for donation, we make a donation. Or end of the year, right? We write a check for an activity. What we don't realize that when you write it once, you think of giving once. When you do it daily, the same amount. For example, $250, we support a child activity that can sponsor one child for 1 year in India. That's only 75 to 80 cents a day. It's like if you're drinking a coffee from Starbucks, it all probably giving up one coffee a week can support one child in India. But if you do that on a daily basis, now 365 days you contemplate giving. So it becomes your habit. And I especially tell that to parents to teach this value to your children, because your children, we all worry that they don't go to mandir, they don't relate to our religion, but they will relate to compassion part. And if you teach them how to donate daily, contemplate giving daily, they will turn out into a very, very good human being. But again, compassion is not only by practicing yourself. You have to be the role model for them. So recommendation is that you donate or give them money on a daily basis, whether it be 10 cents, quarter, or $1. End of the month, you decide as a family on where they should be donated. Just doesn't have to go to mandir. There are so many places you can donate and donate to the place where they relate to. So that is become part of that is become part of Anshadan. We also from Gayatri Chetna Center, if anybody wants to give money there, lately we have been, the coronavirus, we realized, talking to our township, that there are 300 families who were not getting dinners properly. So the school district is distributing, and we are providing 300 meals a day to school district till June 18th. And just last week, we also started another activity where we are buying groceries, packing it, and providing it to a lot of international students who are stuck in this country. Because of the coronavirus, they have no place to go now, because a lot of dormitories are closed, and they are struggling for survival. And so we started helping them also. So if you want to donate on those causes also, you can reach out to Gayatri Period. But otherwise, wherever you feel comfortable, that's where you make the donation. The next one is Samaydan, which is even more difficult. Donation of time is even more difficult than donation of resources, because we are just not trained. It's not that we don't have time. It's just that we have never made it a priority in our life to use our time for charitable cause. It's just we have not developed the value for it. God has not discriminated. It has given 24 hours to Swami Vivekananda or our Gurudev, or anybody who has inspired or your role model is. It's just that those personalities have used their time very wisely, versus we end up wasting a lot of time because we have not developed the value for it. But as soon as you start developing value for it, time will open up. And that is why it is recommended that you daily give time. May that be 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And sometimes we feel we don't have resources. Just practice yourself. Am I happy or not, right? We can only give what we have. So if you learn how to be joyful using that time, you will spread joy. That is also a Samaydan. And if you want to go beyond, there are a lot of activities. You can donate your time into any, good activities that is happening, charitable activities. Find it in your local region, and get your children involved. So those are the pledges we have to take. So when I mentioned that at the end of the puja, we'll do Purnahati, you take one of those pledges and give up one bad habit today and take one good habit. So this gives the basic understanding of, why we do puja and what we have to do in the puja to get permanent benefit. So now take this, and all males put it on the right hand, unmarried female on right hand, all the females put it on left hand. And if you have questions about why left and right, we can talk about it at the end of the puja. So why don't you put it? I chant the mantra. Om Ratena Diksham Apnoti, Diksha Apnoti Dakshinam, Dakshina Shraddham Apnoti, Shraddhaya Satyam Apyate, Shraddhaya Satyam Apyate. Om Ishanushashanam Swikaromi, Om Maryadam Charishyami, Om Varjayam No Charishyami. So you also pray here to Mahakal, or the energy form that controls the transformation of the humanity, to give us strength to become participant of this change. And the only way we can participate is, as I mentioned earlier, we can only give what we have. So basically what we are praying is that make us stronger, remove our fears and anxieties, give us an ability to participate in the process. And another thing that Gurudev also have said, that those who will have established the relationship with the sun, either through Gayatri Mantra or the meaning of Gayatri Mantra, will go through this transition or the transformation very, very easily. And the analogy that he gave is that when a big storm comes, big ships in the ocean may sink, but if there is just a small flower that is sitting there, with the waves it will go up and down, but nothing will happen to the flower. Same way, if you surrender yourself to the divine, and especially establish your relationship with sun, through which all the changes are happening on the earth, you will get that strength, and you will become an observer and participant of the change rather than being the victim of the change, or your suffering will disappear. You will develop a lot of inner strength to go through that. And that is the reason we are doing this puja today collectively also. So that is why through this also we are also asking Mahakal to give us strength to change. Now we do Kalasha Sthapana. So kalash typically looks like this. If you have it, fine. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. If you have kalash, you can put water inside if it's not done there. Or if you have just the bowl through which you do Pavitrikaran, just imagine that you are invoking the presence of all the divine powers in there. Now, water is one of the 5 energy elements known as Panchatattvas. And it is also known that water can absorb thoughts and energies. At least the recent research is pointing towards that, what our rishis have said for, millenniums. Rishis have talked about, in fact, a specific energy known as Vishwavidyut. But recently, Stanford professor William Taylor is able to change the pH of the water with meditation without any physical contact. There is a researcher in Japan, Emoto, who is looking and transforming the water crystal structure and showing clearly that before prayer and after prayer, the crystal structure can be different. And there are so many properties about water that modern science still is exploring. Just 2 months ago, MIT was able to freeze the water above boiling temperature. So about 100 degrees C, they were able to freeze water. Now, from common sense, if we think about it, it just doesn't make sense. But they found a new constraint that if you put a geometry like that of a nanotube, which is a carbon sheet of nanos wrapped around, it's a different form, of a graphite, but rather than sheets connected covalently, it's individually wrapped around and very strong in one dimension. And if you put a constraint like that, then water you can even freeze above. So there are so many things that we do not know, but our rishis had known. So here we are going to invoke the presence of all the divine energy into water. And it's not just a Hindu concept. Christianity, you may have heard the term holy water. In fact, if you read Bible, it also talks about living water. Same concept we have, that water is a living thing, and 80-90% of our body is made of water. So that is one of the reasons when we do puja, we feel good after the puja, because our water also within the body absorbs a lot of the positive. Basically, we are going to invoke the presence of all the divine energy into that water today, from the universal divine energy in forms of different devis and devatas into that water. So I'll just chant the mantra. You imagine that you are preparing that pot of water that you have for absorbing this positivity. Om Kalasastha Mukhe Vishnu Kanthe Rudra Samasita Mule Tatra Sthito Brahma Madhye Matru Ganashmuta. Then we invoke the presence of Guru, Gayatri, and then all Devi Devatas in form of Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namah. Guru is somebody who has transformed your life. Anybody who transforms you positively, you invoke or remember them and invite them today to this puja in whatever form they are, in the subtle form, to bless you and give you strength. I'm also going to invoke the presence of my Guru, Pandit Shri Ram Sharma Acharya, to conduct this yajna, and then any mistakes we make, to use his tap to overcome those deficiencies that we have and provide us the maximum benefits. Om Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Om Shri Guruve Namah. Avahayami Stapayami Dayami Tato Namaskaram Karomi. If you have flour and rice, keep it in your hand. End of this mantra chanting, you can offer that to the altar next to Kalash as well as to Guru. If you have Gayatri Mata's photo, you can offer it there also. Or any form of deity that you worship. And if you don't have it, you can just put it on a plate on the side. Then we invoke the presence of Gayatri, and Goddess Gayatri is nothing but a symbolic manifestation of Gayatri mantra. Om Ayatu Varade Devi Triakshare Brahmavadini Gayatri Chandasa Matah Brahma Yone Namostute. Om Shri Gayatri Namah. Avahayami Stapayami Jayami Tato Namaskaram Karomi. Now we also do Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namah, that all the forms of gods and goddesses that we relate to, all the universal energy, we are asking them to be established in the water. End of the puja, we will also sprinkle that water in the form of blessings as part of Shantipat. And typically we also offer that water back to Surya, not done in Deep Yajna, but in the other form of Yajna, as an Anjali, and put that energy back into the earth to make earth more lively and vibrant. Om Sarvebhyo Devebhyo Namah. Avahayami Stapayami Jayami Tato Namaskaram Karomi. Now that rice and flour you have, now you put it on the altar. Om jalam gandhakshatam pushpam dhupam deepam naivedyam samarpayami. So we offer water typically. You may have heard this. It happens in every puja where people chant this. So jalam means water. Water we offer as a pledge that I'm going to purify myself. Gandh, fragrance, when we offer, or light the, when we light the agarbatti and it burns to give fragrance, we are just saying that we will live a life so that fragrance comes out of our life, right? Rice I have made you offer, that is akshat. Akshat's name is rice. Rice has two meanings. First of all, helping others, especially, those who are hungry. And in ancient India, there was a culture of atithi. When a guest comes to your home uninvited, you take care of them. You treat them like devatas. That's why it says atithi devo bhava. That concept is now kind of going away. But basically, the concept here is that you feed the hungry or whatever extra resources you have, you worry about others. And that's the compassion part that comes. And the extreme of that, those who are in Gujarat knows on Jalaram Bapa and the story. I don't want to repeat that here. So now, Gandh, Akshat, that's why we say, but Akshat also has a Sanskrit meaning of unbreakable or unbroken. So when we offer rice, we also have to contemplate and look within, is my faith into the divine shakeable or it's unshakable, unbreakable. Pushpam, Pushpam means flower. We offer flowers. Every time you offer flower, you have to imagine that is my life flower like. Flower represents joy. Flower also gives fragrance. Am I joyful? Am I spreading fragrance? Am I doing something selfless? And the highest symbolism of a flower is that it gets very detached, and that's how, with that detachment, it finds the place in the feet of the divine. And even it also becomes a garland, meaning it's willing to get poked also. So those who want to walk on the path of righteousness also has to have a lot of challenges that come. Same thing about Deepam. Deep means the light, diya that you light. Again, it's burning itself to give light. We all have been blessed with talent. Yeah, we all have been blessed with talent, and we can always use our talent to help others. A lot of youth that I'm very, very proud of, right? When they go on a college campus, they join societies and teach underprivileged children. And I think from adult point of view, we need to learn a lot about how to help others from our children. Naivedyam means sweet. When you offer sweet to Bhagwan, we are taking a pledge that I will become sweeter in my life. And then we did Namaskar, right? Om Namo Stavantai. So Namaste is also based on that. And I mentioned Tat Savitur Varendyam Gayatri Pivar, that Tat represents divinity. Same thing in Namaste, Te represents the divinity. That's the Sanskrit root that describes God Almighty, which is genderless, all-knowing, all-pervading, all-existing in our religion. So Tat represents that divinity that is represented by God Almighty. And when we say Namaste, we say that I bow down to the divinity within you, means I see the positivity in you. We all have positive aspects, we all have negative aspects, but I choose to look at positive. That is the power of Namaste. So now we do Agni Sthapna. So Agni is also another form of the 5 elemental energy. And Agni is known as a transformer. It's a connector between the subtle world and the physical world. And that's why every ritual is done in form of Agni. All the Yajna is done with fire. But there are 2 of the 16 rituals that you all are familiar with, especially youth also. One of them is that at the time of marriage, which is Vivah Sanskar, that is also done in front of fire, and you go around the fire 4 times or 7 times, depending on which part of India you are, and make pledges again. So Agnini Shakshima, right? In the as a Agni Devata as a witness is where we take the oaths of wedding. Same thing, Antyasri Sanskar, the last rites. We cremate the body, but that again we offer that back to the fire, and saying that may you get dispersed into the 5 elemental, may the physical body get dispersed into 5 elemental energy. Panch Mahatattva, Panch Mahabhut mein sharir vilin ho gaya. That is the phrase that is used. So that's why we are lighting the lamp here. With that, we are going to establish the connection with the divine powers through that lamp, and we're making the offerings, in this case mentally and emotionally, onto Agni Devata, and saying that may you carry this and establish a connection with the divine energy to us. So now you guys light the lamp. I will chant the mantra. All the lamps or candles that you have there, you can lit that except the Aarti. Aarti will lit later. Om Agnenaya Supadharaye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyodyasmajjuhurana Meno Bhuistam Te Nama Uktim Videma. Om Yanmandalam Deeptikaram Vishalam Ratna Prabham Devramanadi Daridra Dukkha Kshayakaranam Cha Puna Tumam Tat Savitur Varenyam Puna Tumam Tat Savitur Varenyam. So when you light a lamp, the flame itself is the physical form of that lamp. The light that comes out of it is the subtle form, and its casual form is sun. So basically with this last stuti that I did, we established the connection of sun energy or the Surya Devata onto that the flame that we have lit on our altar. So now with this we offer 5 times Gayatri mantra offering. In the end of Gayatri mantra, I will say Idam Gayatri Swaha, means I offer. What do I offer? Idam Gayatri Idam Namama, means we show that the gratitude towards Goddess Gayatri or Gayatri mantra, and said whatever blessings I have, I will use a portion of that back to universe. I will give something back to the universe. And in this case, Gayatri mantra, we will spread the positivity, the righteous intellect in the surrounding when we do that. Then we will also chant Mahamudriya mantra and give one offering of Mahamudriya mantra. That's a mantra for health, but it also removes our fear and anxieties. It's in fact a prayer for a perfect death, Mahamrutyunjay. We conquer the fear of death with that mantra, and whenever we drop our anxieties and our fears, and the mantra itself is a call for that I embrace death when I'm spiritually mature enough. So it gives you a full-fledged life, and that's how when somebody is sick, you chant Mahamudriya mantra. So we'll offer that. Then we'll also offer one ahuti to Surya Devata. As I mentioned earlier, the whole transformation is being controlled by Surya Devata or a sun, or the energy that comes out of sun. We'll also give one offering to Rudra, Maharudra, means Shankar Bhagwan. And again, Shankar Bhagwan is also known as Nilkant. So right now there is a lot of churning going on. And if you know the Puranic stories of Samudra Manthan, or the churning of the ocean, what happened first is that poison came out. Right now also there is a big churning between human values. Right? We all have been conditioned with self-centeredness. And on the other side, for humanity to survive, there is a pull, right, that you need to become more open and more forgiving and less self-centric and more compassionate. And so there is a very big churning of thoughts also going on, known as Vichar Kranti Abhiyan, that you need to, there is a big transformation even on the thought process that is happening right now. And that's why the generation gaps are now increasing so fast that even siblings sometimes who are 4 or 5 years apart don't understand each other or have developed very different values. So rate of change is increasing at an unprecedented rate. And here, because of that, we also pray to Maharudra, Panchavakraya Vidmahe, that all the poison, because anytime churning happens, first poison comes out, right? That the poison is being held to, that we do not get impacted by the negativity that comes out of this churning. And we also release our own negativity and offer that to Lord Shiva, saying that give us the strength to release it and absorb positivity. And then we also will offer that 2 ahutis, one to Prakhar Pragya, other one is to Sajal Shraddha. So Prakhar Pragya and Sajal Shraddha, you may have been to Shanti Kunj or may have seen Gayatri Parivar photos or things like that. You will see the symbolism. One of them is Sajal Shraddha, other one is known as Prakhar Pragya. So these are the two main pillars for the new era of truth and righteousness that is not only envisioned by our Gurudev, but also by Swami Vivekananda, Ramana Maharshi, Sri Aurobindo, and many, many great souls of last few centuries, and including even the one who wrote Hanuman Chalisa, Tulsidas ji, and they all have spoken about this. And even Bhavishya Puran, and there are many other Puranas who are also talking about the changes that are coming. Bible or Christian texts also are talking about the same thing, and even Islamic texts are also talking about the major changes happening end of the 14th century, and that period is now is what we are witnessing. So what does Sajal Shraddha Prakhar Pragya means? Sajal Shraddha means the compassion, but faith, but faith with compassion. Right now, the blind faith has destroyed, have done more destruction than even the wars did. And Prakhar Pragya means righteous intellect. Intellect by itself has created all the issues that we see with the environment and everything. All the innovations were done by very, very bright people, but without the human concern because of the self-centricness. And that has to change. So it needs to become a righteous intellect. So righteous intellect and compassion, faith with compassion is the reason we do this offering. So let me chant the mantra. If you know the mantra, repeat that with me. Otherwise, just close your eyes and imagine that you are establishing that connections with Gayatri, with Lord Shiva, Sun, and also these two basic values of Sajal Shraddha and Prakhar Pragya. Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha Idam Gayatri Idam Namama Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha Idam Gayatri Idam Namama Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha Idam Gayatri Idam Namama Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha Idam Gayatri Idam Namama Om Bhurbhuvah Swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat Swaha Idam Gayatri Idam Namama Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukkameva Bandhanan Mrityurmukshiyamamritat Swaha Idam Amrityunjaya Idam Namama Om Bhaskaraya Vidmahe Divakaraya Dhimahi Tanno Suryah Prachodayat Swaha Idam Suryaya Idam Namama Om Panchavakraya Vidmahe Maharudraya Dhimahi Tanno Rudrah Prachodayat Swaha Idam Mahadevaya Idam Namama Om Prakhar Pragyaya Vidmahe Mahakalaya Dhimahi Tanno Shri Rama Prachodayat Swaha Idam Mahakalaya Idam Namama Om Sajal Shraddhaya Vidmahe Mahashaktye Dhimahi Tanno Ma Bhagavati Prachodayat Swaha Idam Mahashaktye Idam Namama Purnahutihi. So Purnahuti is the last offering. Here when I say Swaha for the first time, you need to give up one bad habit. Now, one bad habit, giving up a bad habit is not an easy thing. So what is recommended is Anusankalpa, means give up something you can keep in your mind. So it can be very small thing that you give up. And if you want to time bound it, if you don't have the strength to give it forever, that is also acceptable. Same thing when we have to take a positive value in our life, a positive habit, you can take a habit of either chanting mantras regularly. And as I mentioned earlier, chanting mantra is like a mental gym. Mana Trayatiti mantra. Mantra helps your mind, control your mind. And especially when you chant mantra, you train your mind to be positive. But just like going to gym for physical exercise, you have to also go and do mantra for mental exercise. So you can do that. Or there are so many things we can change, right? Getting rid of our laziness or a very specific traits that you want to change and improve. You can But this is something we have to think for ourselves. It's very easy for us to make a list for somebody else on what we want them to change. This is not about changing somebody else. This is about changing self. So when I say Swaha first time, give up one bad habit, no matter how small it is, it doesn't matter. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnada Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate Swaha. You give up one bad habit. Just imagine this is a communication between you and the Yagya Bhagavan. It mentally offer that. Nobody else needs to know that. Now take one good habit when I say Swaha. Om Sarvam Vai Purnakam Swaha. Now, after that, just like the Aarti, we will do Aarti. Now, typically in Gayatri Parivar, we do a different Aarti, a Vedic Aarti. But here, we have many people who are first time, not exposed. So, we'll do something that everybody relate, which is Kapura Gauram. So, like the Aarti, hold the Aarti. We will go many times. Repeating the Aarti meaning that whatever good values, the pledges we have taken today, we'll practice it so many times that it becomes our habit. And end of the Aarti, we also put water around it, that whatever energy that is generated by this motion that we are putting in our life, that stays contained and doesn't become destructive. Then we put our hand on it and seek the blessings that all the divine light that is generated out of it in terms of righteous knowledge that we absorb and inculcate. So you do Aarti. Om Kapura Gauram Karunavataram Sansara Saram Bhujagendraharam Sada Vasantam Hridayarvinde Bhavam Bhavani Savitam Namami Mangalam Bhagavan Vishnu Mangalam Garudadvaja Mangalam Pundarikaksho Mangalaya Tanohari Sarva Mangala Mangalye Sive Sarvata Sadike Saranye Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Narayani Namostute. After that, we do Visarjan. So you can just take rice and put it next to the altar and saying that all the divine energy that we invoke their presence today, may you disperse back in the universe and please come back when we call you. And after that, we'll do Shanti Path. So just take the rice and offer there. Om Yantu Deva Gana Sarve Puja Madaya Mamakim Istakama Samadhyartam Punaragamanaya Cha. Now you have the water either in the kalash or in that bowl that you had that you did Pavitra Karan with. Just dip a flower if you have and sprinkle over it. If you don't have a flower, then you can just dip your finger and sprinkle water on you as well as on everybody else, that you are being blessed by that water that had absorbed all the divine energy. And the prayer is that may I get peaceful, and not only I get peaceful, the entire universe gets peaceful. And that's why it says Antariksha Gum Shanti. Antariksha is the universe. The entire universe becomes peaceful because my peace cannot exist in a silo. So our Rishi's vision was that, everything in the surrounding becomes peaceful. So just sprinkle over you. Om Dyoho Shanti Antariksha Gum Shanti Prithvi Shanti Rapaha Shanti Raushadaya Shanti Vanaspataya Shantir Vishwe Devaha Shantir Brahma Shanti Sarvagam Shanti Shanti Reva Shanti Sama Shanti Redi. Om Vishwani Deva Savitar Duritani Parasuva Yad Badram Tanna Asuva. Om Shanti 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 Sarvaristesu Shantir Bhavatu. So with that, the puja is done. We were blessed to be able to do it together with 38 other families, including me. There are 39 people. We did the 39 families did this puja together today. And we are part of that, 1 million people who did it at different times within, 100 different countries today. And hopefully all of you enjoyed this puja. If you have any questions, you can open your line and ask the questions also. Also, one more thing. So anybody who wants to drop off, my request is that please introduce yourself when you drop off, because I do not know many of you, and at least that way we establish a relationship. There is one thing I skipped here, that is Jai Ghosh. So typically end of every puja, there are different formulas that are given that we all take as a pledge. And that is very powerful. That includes what we have to do, where the world is going, and what is the vision of an era of truth and righteousness. I'll just very quickly go through it if you guys are okay. So one thing we say, hum badlenge, yug badlega, hum sudrenge, yug sudrega. Means when I transform myself, the world will be transformed. So focus is always on changing ourselves and inspiring change. It also says, देश की रक्षा कौन करेगा, हम करेंगे. Meaning that we also have a responsibility to protect the surrounding that we live in. Every deity has one hand for blessing, but the other hand has some kind of weapon that includes Lord Shiva also, who has no other possessions, but he still has a Trishul. So it is our ability to, or we have to develop that strength to stand up against what is unrighteous. And the vision for future is Manav Matra Ek Saman, that all the human beings are equal. And our generation has to learn. I think our next generation has a lot more openness about accepting all as human beings. Nar aur nari ek saman, the gender-based discrimination will disappear. Jati van sab ek saman, the racism will end. And it says dharma ki jai ho, adharma ka nash ho, means the righteous tendencies will overpower the negative tendencies. And then it also, right, this was in 60s and 70s when my father used to chant that, I used to not able to relate it. It says Saudhan yug badal raha hai. Saudhan means be aware, be alert, the new era is coming. But now with this coronavirus-based unprecedented crisis that we are going through, at least we can feel that there is some transformation happening. We still don't know how and what will manifest, but transformation is showing, at least that part we can relate. So with that, we just say that Hamara Yug Nirman Sat Sankalpa Purna Ho, meaning that we will contribute to making this pledge come true. With that, if you have questions, please feel free to ask. If you have to drop off also, and as I mentioned earlier, if you can introduce yourself before you drop off, that would be great.
Hello, Vipulji, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hi, Vipulji, this is Rana Joy. I had met you at the Gayatri Chetna Center in New Jersey. I'd sought your blessings as I was starting my MBA program. I had a question. You mentioned some charitable opportunities I used about helping the community, especially students. I came here myself as a student 20 years ago. How do I actually donate to help?
You can go to Gayatri Chetna Center.
Okay.
All the funds that we are receiving right now, because temple is closed, we are using majority of those donations are going for this type of help, right? So we are starting more and more activities now.
Okay, so it's open. I can go and make
either that to Gayatri Chetna Center, GayatriCenter.org, and you can donate through PayPal. Center is not open officially.
Oh, I see. Through PayPal. Got it. Thank you.
Through PayPal on a website of Gayatri Chetna Center.
Okay. Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. But select that COVID-19. So these are all COVID-19 related helps that, if you choose that as an option when you donate, all the money will go for only that only.
Understood. Thank you.
And how is your daughter doing? Did she finish that Mantra Lekhan book that I gave? I remember giving her the Mantra Lekhan book.
Yeah, no, she's lagging behind.
Find her like 5 more mantras every day.
Okay.
Yeah. Beta, do you have any questions? How was the puja though? It was more geared towards elderly, so I don't know whether you enjoyed it or not. But...
I liked it. It was good.
Okay. So what did you learn out of this puja? One thing if you learned that you really value out of this puja.
Like that swaha part, that swaha part you were telling that, I think you were saying that we give away one negative quality every day.
Thank you. So one more announcement also. So we do every morning 5 a.m. to 6 a.m. On a conference call, we do collective mantra chanting and meditation. Every evening 8:30 also we do that. Every Wednesday night we have another program that we run. Every Saturday there is a 6-hour sadhana that we do on conference calls also. There are many other programs. On Saturday there is also Sundarkand that we run on conference calls. If anybody is interested, reach out to me. That's why I put my phone number in that WhatsApp message. If you may receive, just reach out to us and we can provide you all the information that you may be, interested in. And I'm also making the recording here, so just let me know if you want the recording for this. I'll put it on Facebook page also, but I can also send you individually this recording. Yeah, so if anybody has, any questions, feel free to ask, or any topic that you want me to discuss.
हेलो भैया, भूमिका बोल रही थी मैं।
हाँ जी।
भैया, ग्रुप में मैसेज डाला था वो दिया ग्रुप के लिए यहाँ पे यूएस के लिए, तो फॉर्म उसने फिल किया है, बट उसको ऐसे कोई ईमेल या कैसे उसको ज्वाइन करके एंड व्हाट शी कैन डू माय डॉटर, वो पूछना
Yes, so
था।
I'm not aware of that specific initiative, but I'll look into it and will let you know. Was it from India or was it from US?
It was in AWGP ग्रुप में था आपने, and then I did it.
Okay. So I'll ask my wife because I'm not able to focus on that side. Yeah.
अच्छा लगा, और मेरा बेटा बोल रहा था यहाँ पे, छोटा है 9 years का, तो कि उसको रोज हम यज्ञ करते हैं तो वो सीख गया, तो उसे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा था। आपके साथ साथ वो भी मंत्र बोल रहा था।
Okay.
और वो बोल रहा था कि गुरुदेव, मतलब उसको गुरुदेव से कनेक्शन फील होता है गुरुदेव के लिए। तो एंड ही स्टार्टेड रीडिंग द बुक द पावर साइंस ऑफ गायत्री, तो थोड़ा शुरू किया।
Super Gayatri, Super Science of Gayatri.
Yeah, Super Science of Gayatri.
Yeah, so if you are looking for any specific book, we have PDF of every book in English. I can send you whatever book you want. Another book,
Yeah.
The Colleagues in Solitude, he probably will enjoy reading that also, if he's a 9-year-old.
Okay, I'll give him, after this, I'll give him that book so he can read it. So like according to his age, I was thinking which book is good. So I told him to read about Gayatri. So
and then, Companions in Solitude or Colleagues in Solitude. Then also My Life, Legacy and Message, also the autobiography of Gurudev, he will enjoy reading that also.
Okay. तो उसका autobiography of Gurudev वही है ना, legacy वाली है?
My Life, Legacy and Messages.
थैंक यू भैया, इतना मतलब ऑर्गेनाइज करने के लिए, इतना इनिशिएटिव देने के लिए। अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा लगा। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
You're welcome. So we also, Ami, is Ami from Canada or?
Yes, Ami's from Canada. How are you? Jai Gurudev.
Jai Gurudev. Yeah, so anybody, if you have any questions, right, regarding the time that we are going through the writing Gurudev on this era transformation phase, and what to expect, and if you want me to summarize, I can also summarize few things there. One of the prediction by or Bhavishwani by him as well as by many other saints, that India will become Jagat Guru. So the transformation first, or the stabilization will come first in India. And India will show the world how to deal with crisis and how to transform that into a positive, righteous value. And India's culture and our Sanskriti will provide the light for all. And anyone who is not connected with the sun or the divine knowledge will have to go through the transformation. And those who will not be able to transform will not be able to survive, is the prediction that is there. So the blind faith-based atrocities that we have will stop. And there was one article that was written in 1942 by Gurudev. That was before World War II and before India's independence, of course. And there he gave a 100-year timeline and make it a phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So looks like we are transitioning from phase 1 to phase 2 now. And the phase in right will be a short phase, but you know, within next 20 years we'll see major transformation according to what is predicted.
Hi, Vipul uncle.
Hi.
I'm Nesa Bolu, Bhargav by daughter.
Hey, how are you, beta?
Good, tama kem ka?
Yes, I'm fine.
Jai
I'm
Guru.
fine. Yeah, Jai Gurudev. Yeah, we miss you. Now the mandir is not there, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bal Sanskar Sala. But you guys did amazing 2 hours without complaining each way. So yeah,
Yeah, today.
they used to come to mandir all the way from Reading to Piscataway, New Jersey every other weekend.
Today I learned that when you say namaste, you bow down to the divinity in a person.
Yes.
I really like that.
It's a choice that we have.
Yeah. Jai Gayatri.
Jai Gayatri. Mulchad uncle, any comments, feedback?
No, all is good.
Yeah.
Everything good. Thank you. We enjoyed it.
And we have Angana also. Angana from Texas or?
Yes. Hi, people. How are you?
All right. How are you?
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Texas. I did that. Yeah. I enjoyed
Thank you.
the puja. Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to perform, I think, the 12th day puja for one of your relatives, but I think they already found somebody.
One of my relatives?
Or Tinu's relatives, maybe from
Oh,
Tushar,
okay. Tushar. Yeah.
Tushar's, maybe his wife's side.
Oh, I see. Nirmesh is. Yeah. I know who that is.
Okay. Yeah, one of the major challenges that to get the youth interested in this type of puja. So
Yeah. You mentioned earlier that ladies ને left માં પેલું બાંધવાનું હોય તો એના માટેનું કારણ શું?
So two things. First of all, left and right meaning it's only for married couples, that they are complementary to each other, right? They don't need to compete, right? Left and right means also that they are compete. You know, the men are from Mars, women are from Venus. That is also explained there. That one is more strong on a compassion side, the other one is more on intellectual or a logical decision making side, right? And a true married couple is supposed to complement each other, right? Both of them to recognize that as a trend. Also that left and right, also left brain right brain concept, right? And a lot of our emotions are controlled through our nadi system, right? And that's why even in ancient time the Ayurvedic doctors used to do this nadi, right? And that's
Right.
the prana shakti that is flowing through there. So left and right also has to do more with.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, but in Vedic times, the female empowerment was very great. In fact, that in last 2,000 years, in last 1,000 years, it deteriorated in India, especially after Muslims came.
Okay.
18. So every Ved mantra has a rishi associated with, known as Drashta Rishi. For example, Gayatri mantra's Drashta Rishi is Vishwamitra, meaning that Vishwamitra is the one who manifested this mantra, right? He realized this mantra in his meditation. So I think Gurudev mentioned 16 or 17% of the Vedic mantras has Drashta Rishis are females.
Okay. All right.
So anybody is interested in reading the books also, let me know. We have a very large collection of books in PDF. So we also have Dipti Dixit, both Divya Didi is there too, or just
Both of us are here.
okay. Yeah, remind me, I have to send you an audio of Gurudev talking about Aligarh Muslim University.
Okay.
Yes, I think yeah. So Dilip Mistry ji, I don't know you unless if you don't mind, if you can introduce yourself also, and Hasmukh uncle also. I don't think I have met you, but again, I'm getting old and my memory is also not that good anymore in terms of remembering people. So Dilip, where are you based? Okay, that's fine. So if it's okay, now I can end the call, and I'll anybody who needs the recording, just let me know, and I'll send you a YouTube link of this. Okay. Namaste.
Namaste, Jai Gurudev.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you.